I need to be reminded of... Oh, hello! Fancy meeting you all here.
Wait, what? Who?
Apparently we're on. We're in.
We are.
We're here.
Woo!
Welcome back, everybody. Have you missed us?
I've missed
the
us.
vast sea of fans out there
Are you
that have
still
been
there?
missing us. Are you still here? Please.
Hello. A bit late. We're 4 weeks late.
Yeah, you're joining us live for...
I don't know, I was worried about being 10 minutes late.
Yeah, that's a
Tonight.
good point. Yeah, as a proportion, you're bang on time.
You're joining us live for Bristol Creamy.
Oh, delicious.
Which is sponsored by Bristol Cream.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Bristol Cream.
Eat the best sherry there is by some distance.
Likened to raisins in a glass.
Yeah.
All
I
the
couldn't even
time.
give you a second place sherry.
No,
What's the next best
it's
sherry?
not worth it, is it?
Littles.
Tesco's finest.
What do they sell in the corner shop?
Yeah. Bristol Cream.
It truly is quite Moorish.
Well, unlike the other spirits, there's not the undertone of alcoholism with a sherry, is there?
No.
No, it's always
Not,
good.
not until you're at
Like
least
a brandy.
75 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah, exactly. That's
And then
right.
Then you're legally allowed to drink it by the bucket load.
If you go to the corner shop and ask for a sherry, that's fine. If you got a small bottle of whiskey, and was like, ooh,
Especially if
sort
you're
of that.
14.
Have a sherry, please. In a cravat. Me and my friends would like a sherry, please.
It's worth it.
Oh dear. We should probably roll an intro, shouldn't we? While I remember what it is we do here.
Hi, would die rolling.
Hi, we're Die Rolling. We need to introduce ourselves. We don't need to. Everyone knows who we are.
Authority.
Everyone knows.
Yeah, everyone knows.
Everyone knows who we are.
Hello, boys. Pink lemonade?
Mom!
Yeah. We,
I didn't realise it was downtime in the campaign.
we walked all the way back to the,
All the way back.
cliff.
Pick
and,
that up.
600 gold pieces of
Yeah.
bone chippings.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Bone chippings. Are they at the bottom of the rest of the bones?
Yeah,
they're
it's
the
just
bit
naturally chipped.
It's when you
Discarded.
filter your bones.
Yeah.
Based on
It's the,
size.
it's the
Stuff
bits
that
you
falls out
hack
the bottom.
off when you're making sharpened bone spears.
like
Yeah.
the bits at the bottom of like the
Teabag
potato
box.
bits at the bottom of when you go for fish and chips.
When you use the last tea bag and there's just a dust left.
Oh,
Or
no
you
one
buy,
likes that.
buy the broken biscuits.
Or,
Yeah.
Oh,
or
I'm a
the
big fan of
BCBs
those.
at the chip shop.
PCBs.
BCBs.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's what they are. BCBs.
Bone
They're
crunchy
crispy-
bits.
Yeah.
Cheesy.
Yeah. Nobody does those anymore.
BCBs.
No,
There
'cause
used
I
to
think
be
they're like a
fantastic
heart
chip
attack in
shop
a
in
bag.
Nottingham.
Back in my day, you used to get a scoop for free.
Because everyone was stick thin. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's all the rampant amount of work and labour.
Yeah.
Lad.
Yeah.
We're back!
We're back! You don't need to hear about the socio-economic climate of Britain. It's bad.
So-
But we're getting better.
So much communism back then.
There was so much communism. Remember you can get a train? Remember those days? Those are the days.
Oh, it hurts because it's true.
Cheaper to buy a car now.
Yeah.
Right. We're in.
Are we?
If you need to know what happened last time, so do we. There are allegedly
If
YouTube
you,
videos.
if
that
you can
chronicle this.
remember, please put it in the chat.
Please put it in the chat.
It would be really
It's
useful.
going to be an impromptu feel to the evening's
How
proceedings.
can you drink?
Um,
how can you drink Pepsi with no caffeine in it? What is the point of
I'm an
having?
old man.
What is the point of having something with no caffeine in it?
But he's got a
find it
Pepsi and a
delicious.
sherry.
Yeah, a Pepsi with no caffeine to look after myself, and also a glass of sherry. Because I'm an old man.
It's the taste of a new generation.
Yeah, it is. Mm.
Zero caffeine Pepsi.
That's some good black fizzy water. and only just enough of sulfamate K to not be a cancer risk.
Nice.
Please don't sue us, Pepsi. So last time, I believe you were in the house of somebody who is not self-titled, was given the title of the Life Forgeman, who is our good friend
Holston.
Holston.
And he almost
thank you.
died, right? So he's not feeling great.
He's not feeling great. He did almost die, and you were involved in that decision by offering him up accidentally to a group of very large, angry creatures.
This has been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah,
It was like a long time ago this happened.
You
You
did
keep
lots of
saying
combat.
these things, and these things, the memories come back. But until you say them,
Because you've had a
there's
very
nothing
long,
there.
You've had a very long sleep.
Yeah.
Had a very,
It's
very
about
long
10
sleep.
hours ago, game time.
Absolutely, yeah. It's literally 10 hours ago, but
Right.
feels like an age. Feels like at least a month since you had these memories. But you did successfully go down into a hole, and you successfully recovered several very large items of Life Forge equipment. A set of bellows and a crucible, which you brought back to the surface. You have previously encountered an anvil, and the forge was already in place, so the forge was there to begin with, and so you are aware of the location of the anvil. You will remember that the promise was that if you did these things, you may get an introduction to the Enclave. The Enclave are the highest order of administration within the Dwarven community. You put Holston in his own bed. His pulse was present, if weak, and presumably all bedded down. You investigated various things, including a new cloak, which I believe our good friend Felix is in possession of. I got there in the end.
You bastard. The brown cloak.
Yes.
The brown cloak
Cloak.
of cloakiness.
Brown cloak of magic cloakiness.
Yeah, there was a brown cloak of magic-y cloakiness that you took off a very large grey being. It shrunk down to your size.
Can you remember what its effect was? Or
Mm.
did we not know?
I think we discussed it
Yeah.
offline. But if you don't remember, it doesn't exist, which is the D&D rule. I'm of course joking. You can be spending your time attuning to it, if that's what you want to do.
Yarp.
I thought you might. While you are wearing it, you can use an action to cast Disguise Self. However, it won't work on the cloak itself. So you'll always be wearing a brown cloak,
Yeah.
but underneath said brown cloak, you are disguised. Specifically, it's Disguise Self. There are caveats to using it, but I won't go into them now.
What does it disguise him as?
It's basically the spell Disguise Self, so you can use anything. I think you can be up to a foot taller or shorter than you are, but a foot shorter would be hilarious. But you can change your race, face, whatever, as long as you're kind of humanoid. The downside is if you are somebody who investigates you can hold you up to scrutiny. So if somebody's specifically looking for the fact you may be disguised, they'll be able to see it. It's an illusion,
So
not an actual.
If somebody
change.
standing there goes, I can smell wet dog.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
can't see a wet dog.
Yeah, exactly. Also, if you did something like gave yourself an elaborate hat, it would be, or if you're a foot taller than you should be, if they were to pass your hand through it, it's an illusion.
He does have an elaborate hat.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine that was the case.
No, he does. He has.
Oh yeah, he's got the
the bird hat.
bird sun hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely. Any more for any more? Is there anything that you need to know that you didn't know now, or forever hold your peace? The question can't be where's Jack gone, because I don't know.
We keep probing to go to the king, and they all just keep laughing at us. So that's just a one.
Mm-hmm.
We do want to go see the king.
This much is true.
No, that's it. That's all we need to do. We'll just sit in silence now.
I think we're just having a pint, right?
Well, you were having a pint, yeah. You could be going to bed, but
Probably going to bed
a long
now.
rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little later than the others.
A little
Yeah.
later than the others.
Maybe
You're not
half
a
an
nerd.
hour
Who's,
later.
yeah, who's going to stay up? Who's the last to go to bed?
I told you we should have brought that anvil with us.
Here's where I reveal. My tunic at all times.
We didn't leave it on the side of a cliff. It was here the whole
I've got
time.
one note here that just says anvil! Exclamation mark. So that probably means
That you've got it with
I've got
you.
it with me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can go with that.
I had it all along.
That's why you've been walking in very small lopsided circles all the time.
Yeah.
Big weight in one pocket.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Your description of Disguise Self was almost word for word from the player's handbook.
He is the walking player's handbook lexiconium.
I
Wow.
haven't even looked it up since last time. Is it even a DC 10? I know it's probably based on your...
Intelligence.
Is it DC 10? Or is it based on your casting modifier?
Casting modifier, which would be terrible.
Casting modifier. Well done. Well done. I imagine we could probably house rule that because it'll probably come off the cloak, not you. I'll look that up for you if it comes up. If it doesn't, we'll house rule it.
Felix messes around with said new cloak and makes himself look a foot taller, which means he's 4 foot tall.
Is it a foot taller?
Otherwise described as short.
In proportion, or do your legs suddenly get longer?
I think it's all in proportion.
You become a grey.
Or he's got a really long neck.
So yeah, it's 4 foot tall, and he kind of looks like a human, but he has a very bushy black beard, which looks very doggy. And when he opens his mouth, it's still a dog's mouth.
Big dog tongue.
Yeah. So it's like, just don't talk. And he's like, why? What looks weird? What's strange?
It's a good job we're not playing Call of Cthulhu. Can anyone make an insanity roll, please? Marvellous. You hear the rhythmic sound of an old man snoring as he's lying as he's lying in his own bed. Probably will wake up the next morning if the nursery rhyme is to be
lying in a pool of his own bed.
Is anybody passing the time? You're on a long rest. Does anybody need to do anything very specific? Otherwise, you're inside an abode, so I will pass over the time fairly liberally. No?
I've got all my stuff back. So.
Oh, this guy makes stuff, right?
Yes.
Is there a whetstone anywhere that Felix could pocket?
He's a life forgeman. So I'm going to go with roll an investigation check.
Sweet. I could really do with one. Not that it makes any difference, but...
I suppose there's any crossbow bolts lying around.
2.
Does he have 50 GPs of
There's whetstone.
He's an old man. Yeah, there's stones and there's beer. But that's about as good as you got.
That's fine.
You are aware that there is a Forge Master General in town. But other than that,
Fine. He's about to sleep.
Cool, go to sleep.
What were you after?
No crossbow bolts.
Oh, crossbow bolts, yeah.
Never mind.
Or any other general bric-a-brac that an adventurer would require. You were in an old man's house. There's lots of Bristol cream.
Rugs. Yeah, Bristol cream and rugs.
And rugs, yeah.
Random tea towels.
And the little pictures where it's
Yeah.
just like, why is that picture so small on the wall?
Yeah.
And there's like an array of them. And you're like, but they're of things.
And they're all totally random things.
Yeah,
And
you're like-
one of them's a little cottage next to some woods with a trail of smoke coming out of the top of it.
Yeah.
The other one's a boat.
And you're like, there's no way these are his snaps. No. Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah, there's a lot of that kind of thing.
all the murder sites?
Yeah.
One's a clip frame with a suspicious-looking family in it, all smiling wanly. Anyway,
The night passes without any kind of major hoo-ha.
The pictures watch you.
The pictures are watching you. But other than that, there's no particular hoo-ha that happens. And you hear occasional noises from outside that sound like heavy things moving. But other than that, that's about all you get.
it's moving.
Not enough to disturb. If you're already asleep, you probably wouldn't wake up for it. The kind of dwarven under the mountain equivalent to a car pulling by is kind of the
It
general
sounds
sense.
stony.
Yeah, an element of stoniness to it.
And now I'm picturing Flintstones cars driven by dwarfs.
You are awoken to the sound of, I assume you're all sleeping at the same time, you'll feel fairly secure, nobody's taking watch or anything like that. No. You're awoken to the sound of an old man going, I feel awful. What happened? Is this my bed? What's going on?
Yes.
I remember those big green creatures, and then I kind of fell over and I don't really remember much after that.
Oh, that's a shame.
It's fine, they're all dead now.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's fine. We got the bellows. So,
Oh, marvellous.
so
That's
bellow,
great.
you're having a great day.
That's great. We've got the forge, the bellows, crucible. Just missing a wee bit.
Here we are.
Aye, well, yeah, you did very well. Oh man, I feel awful. I feel like I drank myself stupid last night.
Funny you should say that.
Is that right?
Kind of. There was unconsciousness involved anyway.
Why? Oh, gosh, my head. It's aching. Well, I suppose. What is it that you wanted again?
We want to go and see the Enclave.
Aye, I could probably arrange that. Aye, well, I'll struggle without the anvil, but with the rest of the things you'd assembled, I could probably give you a bit of a look at how the forge works.
Yeah, that'd be great. Remember, we know where the anvil is.
That's a long way away, though.
Yeah, but it's not a Clow. It's not Clow. If we brought it with us, then you could have just knifed us. It'd be no good.
I wouldn't. What makes you think I'd do that?
No, I know you personally. It's fine. It's not.
What are you? What's wrong with you? You seem to have changed dramatically. Who's this?
He looks,
What's wrong with his
he looks
face?
quite a lot more human, but like he
Let me get my spectacles on him.
he even holds his hands still like he's got paws. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I must be really ill because you look different.
Yeah.
Have you had a shave?
Licks his beard.
You had a bit of a shave.
No, he's fine.
Shave my forehead.
I always look like this.
I'm not sure that's true. You do actually hear woof, woof, woof. There's this big stone dog barking at the bottom of the stairs. Ah, shut up, you idiot! He's always doing that when I'm trying to have a conversation, you know, always barking away. Bottom of the stairs there.
So the Enclave.
You want to go now? You don't want to see? Well, fine. If you don't
Oh
want to
no!
see
If you want to show us how to, you want to show us how to forge.
I thought
Come
you'd
on.
done a great quest. I'll bless you with me boons, but if you don't want me boons, you can just bugger off.
No, I cannot.
No.
I cannot
No.
read subtext. I
No.
cannot read subtext. I didn't get it.
No, that's fine.
You're asking me
Be
to
off
read.
with you.
No, you are taunting me. You are not being fair.
What makes you think that? What's wrong with you, strange dog man?
Just say what you mean.
You're a strange, and you're a bit taller as well.
I was always like this. You're drunk.
Well, well, you know, like I won't be able to forge anything, but because we haven't got the anvil, we'd struggle without the
Is
conduit.
there much point in showing us that if you can't do anything with it?
Yeah, well, we can do something with it. We got the crucible, we got the forge, we got the bellows, so I could maybe imbue something, maybe.
I want to see this.
We'd need something alive, but it's possible.
I volunteer.
You might not want to do that.
I've always wanted to be imbued.
You've been imbued in something, you know.
Oh.
So you're talking about putting like an animal spirit into something or something like that?
Yeah, in a manner of speaking.
Into a weapon or
Sure, whatever you want, really.
you want a magical force in your sword?
No, it seems a little unfair if I had like a raccoon sword. Like that raccoon was free, and then now it's a sword.
What's that raccoon?
You know, they're outside things.
Ah,
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. They
I'm
look
just
like that.
saying, it's theoretically possible if you want to see how it works.
Yeah, but I
Probably-
don't. It just seems like imagine if you were a raccoon. I imagine yourself you're in a tree. I think raccoons go in trees.
What's the tree? I'm only kidding, I know what a tree is, I'm
Yeah.
not an idiot.
And you're spending your whole day in a tree, and then some dickhead comes along and he makes you steal. That's not good.
It would take aspects of the living creature's character. I mean, look at my dog, you know. Aspects of the creature's character. I wouldn't necessarily make it a perfect match, you know. You wouldn't want that, but There's a certain strength in it, but yeah, you got to make sure that it's something that it's kind of aligned to what you're trying to do, you know. Otherwise, you're just going to end up arguing with the thing all the time. It's going to give you loads of trouble.
Does it raise moral issues? Like, was
Fuck yeah, loads.
Okay, cool. It's not just me then.
But I'm gilded, so I don't really worry about these kind of things, you know.
Okay, because
I work for contracts, and if it's what you want to do, well, so be it.
So your dog used to be a dog.
Ah, yeah.
You think maybe he wants to still be a dog?
He seems pretty happy.
He
doesn't
is still a dog.
He is
Just
still a dog.
made it-
Just this time, he's going to live forever.
Oh,
Made
it's
of
just
stone.
very good. Yeah,
Well, as far as we can tell. Might weather, I guess. But.
okay. I'm just going to clear my palate.
This is great. It's very restorative. You bring that with you?
This is delicious.
It's like raisins.
You're going to show us or what?
What have you got?
Oh,
What do you want me to do? Let me get me. I mean, I'm still dressed, so actually I don't need to get dressed.
let's
I
go and
slept
meet the
all night
Enclave. I
in
think
clothes.
he's right. Let's go and meet the Enclave. We don't need to see this.
Well, okay.
Oh, I want to get a spider and put it in something now.
What, could you catch a spider? You're going to have to roll some kind of nature
What about
check.
that thing at the bottom of the pit in the water? I want that in my axe.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
You want an angry fish thing? In
I want
your
an
axe?
angry fish in my axe.
You want an angler axe?
Hey.
He's serious.
I'm no fisherman, that's for sure. But
Can we put Wesley in my axe?
he is sleeping pretty heavy, isn't he? Well, how about I keep Wesley here? Me and him can have a chat about it, and you guys go and meet the Enclave. Unless you really want to see it.
I'm curious about the idea of being able to. I mean, so if you were to put an animal spirit into,
Not just an
And-
animal.
not just an animal.
Anything like
I
that.
put my javelin into my axe.
Has to be alive.
Okay.
Good idea, though. I like it. You need the Forge Master General for that kind of thing, but
That is awesome.
that's slightly more mundane than what I'm suggesting.
Well, I don't know. Imagine you could throw your axe 60 foot.
Nice.
Forge Master General might genuinely be able to help you with that. They need an anvil, of course, but don't let me rub salt in the wound.
Are you serious that there's something he can do? Like, what if I took my great sword and I gave him a longbow and was like, do your best?
It's theoretically possible.
This is a guy we got to meet.
He's a Forge Master General.
Okay.
I'm just thinking if you had something, if you had, say, a bow, and you imbued it with the spirit
Another bow.
of a bird of prey, would that be like a magically supremely accurate bow?
Well, I couldn't really profess to its accuracy, but it'd be... If you understood what the spirit wanted and you could channel that, then yes, I would imagine so.
So you're talking about making magical weapons.
Yeah.
Hedgehog boomerang.
Oh, yeah.
Now you've got it.
Badger boomerang.
Oh, an angry badger boomerang.
There is a you have to be aware that there is a downside. The thing would have the living essence and soul of whatever it is you put in there.
Albert Greatsword. Nice.
Angry badger greatsword.
Which means it has its own ideas. You know, it's alive. It's just in something else. Look at my dog. You know, it's a living thing.
What do you think of Line Tricks? Weird? Acceptable? Unacceptable?
Oh, it's all theoretical anyway because we don't have a badger or a hedgehog.
It's amazing how often that comes up.
Oh, damn! If only I had a badger.
Well, we might find a need for it.
Okay.
Well, you done me a good turn. I'll give you a go for free. After that, we'd have to talk contracts, but I'm sure you guys are good for it.
Oh yeah.
Well, when we find appropriate elements to combine.
Snake manacles.
Now that's a goer, yeah, that could work.
Is that counts from Metal Gear Solid?
If one were to find somebody that required transport along with us for a period of time, you'd be willing to help us out.
Not sure I understand. Transport with you for a period of time.
If we bring a creature to you to be imbued
Yes.
within an item of
Sure.
our choice, you'd be prepared to do that
Oh, aye, yeah.
because you owe us a favour
Aye.
without
yeah.
questions or judgment.
I've done worse.
Great.
I literally made the device that takes the living essence out of creatures and binds them in other things, you know. So I've seen it all, really.
Enslaves them.
Well, you could say that.
So
They
long as-
still
so long
have
as-
their own thoughts and feelings. Now, they might not like the process.
Hey,
You
I love slavery.
know. Right.
When done right.
Right. I see. Right. I'll bear that in mind. Don't. Hopefully, I won't make you angry at any time.
So long as you
I
don't
think
pass
he's permanently angry, to be honest with you.
pass too much judgment, and you're prepared to enact the favour upon our request, then that's enough for us.
Right. Well.
And Wesley's probably already halfway to the anvil by now. So when he returns, we'll have that ready.
Well, that's good to know. Aye.
I
Well, with the
remember-
anvil,
yeah,
I'd be
it
able
was
to.
on.
You'd have a focal point. It'd get a lot more powerful, to be sure. What I could do now is probably I wouldn't be able to hold a living soul for very long. But with the anvil, you could do something a little bit more elaborate. Perhaps forge something. With help, of course, we could talk to Bumwageit and we might be able to forge something. Maybe.
Do you know what an Ashari lens is?
No, I know what a lens is.
You never
Opticus.
heard of an Ashari lens? Fair enough.
No. Something a gnomish contraption, maybe. The gnomes might be a bit of a sore spot when you're talking to. You're right there. Come
I'm
under the
fine,
table.
I'm fine.
Oh, hello. If you don't mind,
I'm just trying to get me Pringles.
don't touch me hammer.
God, it's a long way down there.
You're yeah, you might want to stay unless they bring it up themselves. You might want to steer clear of the gnomes in the top of the enclave. You know they're all right, but they don't quite. We've had our differences, shall we say? There was a time that dwarves and gnomes were like this, and let's just say the powers that be found trade elsewhere.
We remember this. You told us this.
Aye.
There's no worries. The gnomes are dicks. There's no worries.
Well, I don't know. I'm not judgy, but
But yes.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
They're a little bit more open about their secrets, and I think that meant that they were kind of favoured by the powers that be.
Sure. They're non-unionised. Is that what you're saying?
In a manner of speaking, yes.
I see.
They're loyal to new ideas and not to old ideas, should we say.
Sure. Take us to your leader.
Okay, I can do that. He gets out of bed, puts on his slippers, starts shuffling to the door. He's an old man, it takes him quite a long time. By the time he gets to the bottom of the stairs, the dog's going crazy. This kind of 6 foot large stone dog. Oh, come down, you Egypt! Go on, get out of the way! He's kind of pushing it away. Goes up to his front door. You'll remember that there is a fairly large, even though it isn't square, kind of Gilded Hall Square, if you like. It's a bit like a town square if Gilded Halls were a town. There was, on your right, you've got this big stone pillared building, which you correctly identified the bank. Pivoting kind of straight across from you, there is kind of a large building that has anvils on it and kind of big hammers. To your direct left, there is the Hall, as it's known. With this big crane operating above it. It's kind of pivoted to one side from where you left it. And then there was this big kind of smashed building that kind of had fallen into the hole and that had kind of statues and various things within it. In between the bank and this large kind of anviled building, if you like, there is another door. It's flanked by columns. And you notice it more now. You didn't see it before, but you can perhaps pick out some of the details. It's inlaid with gold. But other than that, it doesn't have any particular runes or any kind of markings. It does have a large keyhole in the centre. It's much like the door you passed through to get into the Guildhall, but other than the fact that it's inlaid with gold, it's fairly muted actually in comparison to the rest of the grandeur in this room. Holston makes a direct beeline for this door. A couple of voices are heard, and they're voices you've heard before. So you hear the voice of Baragrotum, who was the creator of likenesses and automator, has this deep voice. You're not taking them to see the Enclave, are they? They attached me to a magnet. I was hanging there all night, and then I fell. And then I woke up and the floor was still in my armour. And I was wet. Which, granted, happens most mornings these days. But it was a little bit more embarrassing because I was on the floor there. And I couldn't get up. You hear another voice.
No idea what he's talking about. Have you got any idea? I've got no idea what he's talking about.
You hear a couple of other voices. As far as you know, they're female dwarves, older, a kind of gruff-sounding voice, another voice that's fairly high-pitched. They're having this conversation. They seem quite happy that you're going to the Enclave, but there's this general bric-a-brac of association going on. But unless you stop for any reason, Holston makes it to the door. Takes a key from around his neck that is large and golden. You notice there's one of two. There's kind of a silver, kind of large ornate key and a much larger gold ornate key around his neck. And he takes the gold key, places it in the door, and turns it. There is a very large clack, and as that happens, you've noticed that around the perimeter of these doors, where you'd expect almost a hinge or something, is almost perfectly hewn. So you can. It almost looks like it's been carved into the wall. And there doesn't seem to be any contraption or hinge or anything like that. The whole door moves back by about 3 feet and then pivots on one side. It's almost impossible to tell how it's doing it because the door must be at least a foot, if not 3 foot thick, but seems to disappear into one wall as it kind of pivots 90 degrees into the left-hand side, and then it almost is perfectly formed on that wall. You don't see how it works, you just know that this door is pivoted out of your way perfectly.
Cunning.
Alright, well, good luck.
They do good doors around
It was
here.
great meeting you. Remember what I said about the forge?
Yeah, hang on, you're not going to come with us.
Oh, absolutely not. You think I'm mad? I'm not going in there.
What makes it? Why is it man going to go see the? What do you mean?
The Enclave.
Yeah, but what about him?
They. You know, you got people wait their entire lives to be enclaved.
To be enclaved.
Enclaved, yeah. You're
Um,
gilded, you're guilted, like
I
me,
see. Right.
and then you're enclaved.
Right.
They'll be in there their entire lives, right through to their death.
They never come out,
Not if they have to.
and you don't go in and see them.
No, not if I can avoid it.
Will we be able to get out?
Probably. Aye, unless they take exception to you in some way, but
Oh,
I don't see why
not
not.
going
I
to
think
happen, is it?
you've proved yourself to be very nice. So, good luck. I'm
There's
sure it'll be fine.
absolutely no way that we could cause offence or upset to anybody.
Well, when you get to that kind of age, you know, and that kind of stature, your job doesn't really matter, your person doesn't really matter. You kind of give over everything you have to the royal line, and yeah, you kind of cease to be a person in of yourself. You know, you're enclaved. It's your duty to sit through generations and guide the future generations to prosperity.
Because they've paid off their mortgages.
In a way, yeah.
Interesting. Different times.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right, the door may shut behind you. Don't worry about that. It's all part of the process, you know. So that's a thing that will happen.
Are there any blood gullies this time?
Not that I'm aware of. There'll be something. There's always something, you know. But not quite the same way as when you came in through the front door there. Yeah.
Great.
Good luck.
Can you keep the door open?
No,
Okay.
it kind of does its own thing.
Can we wedge the really old dwarf in the door? use him as a heavily armoured doorstop.
break his legs or something.
Just sit there.
How do we get back if the door's going to close? Hey, come on, you.
I don't know. I've not been in, have I?
You've
I've only seen the door from this side.
You've never seen.
You know what they said? Don't use the key. I've used it now, so we've already broken that seal. You know, so we're already much further than I've been previously in my
Come in with
adventure.
us then. You must be curious.
I'm an old man. I've got my forge back now. I've got my job back. I'm just gonna hang out with my dog and just generally have a good time.
How do you not know the
I
next
don't really have any grand plans of being enclaved anytime soon. You know, I'll go and join the Hall of Heroes here and not really worry about it too much.
How do you know they're not just all dead?
I don't.
This is going to be one of those situations with the skeletons on the table. This is what's going to happen. Fair enough.
Oh, you've met him before, have you? I didn't realise you'd met all the Enclave.
Oh, dear.
Do you often go around looking at high administrations of races and they're all dead and you're all there? Oh, not this again! Lots of dead folk.
More often than not.
Oh, right, okay.
Okay.
Well travelled, you lot, aren't
But
you?
this time we've got snake manacles, so
Nice.
Name of the other band? Blood Gilly and Snake Manacles.
Snake Manacles by Blood Kelly.
Let's get t-shirts. Good luck.
That's the second time we said that. Let's just go in.
I'm still here, but don't feel you have to keep talking to me. You know, I will just keep going.
We walk forward.
Yeah, we're going in.
The door will slowly start pivoting outwards as this room slowly gets darker and darker and darker as it shuts. You do hear this whittling on voice is the best way to describe it. Oh, on the last time I put my key in this door, I didn't get it the whole way. I didn't kind of bottled it out last minute. And you're in a long hall. It's about 60 foot long. On the far end, there's some kind of ornate end. Can you all see in the dark? No, casting can't see in the dark. It is pitch black in here. So everyone but casting can see in black and white. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 stone pillars on either side that line the way, if you like, 4 pillars, and each one is carved in runes, much like when you, if you remember, way back when you stood outside on the highway, there were these runes carved into the ground that didn't make any sense, but in the correct orientation when stood above them, you could read them. There's something similar going on here. You can't quite see what they mean, but there are runes written almost in geometric patterns, kind of faces of dwarves and kind of elaborate runes, not your kind of Nordic runes you'd expect, things that are incredibly elaborate on all of these surfaces. They don't seem to make any sense from where you're stood immediately in context, and they're all just meaning different things. There's stuff there that mean life and artisan, and there's a lot on there about stone, and something about hands, but you're not really sure what it means at this stage. It goes all the way forward to a door, of which there is a alcove in the centre. It's almost kite-shaped, flat on the top, down to a kite, and there is a hand almost reaching out of the centre of this kind of hole in the door that has a hand on it, carved out of stone.
Lantrix will try and make whatever sense she can from all the runes.
Roll me an investigation check.
23.
I'll probably do it. You move around the room to try and get the right orientation. It's obvious that where you're stood changes the meaning, and you're not sure. You start to get a few false reads, if you like. It doesn't make any sense. So you get things about life being clasped, and you get hands standing on shoulders, and then you get something about life being committed, and you're kind of not really sure what it means. You notice that when you stand directly in front of the hand and look backwards, they all start to fall into place based on kind of where they are. It says a small statement that says, "Life admitted, on artisan shoulders we stand, in stone we are committed, clasp hands and enter."
Right then. I will walk up and firmly shake hands with the door.
She's going to just
What's the first bit?
She's just going to put her hand out to stop him before he does.
Yeah.
And just take another moment to comprehend.
What does he say again?
She'll read it out, and she says,
Life admitted, on artisan shoulders we stand. In stone we are committed. Clasp hands and enter.
That's very good.
"Yeah,
Well, should
I'm a
we?
polyglot."
The cream for that.
The dwarves have special hands. You know, like special stone ring or something.
Should we?
Do we have anything else that could shake its hand?
What about your shield?
That was somebody else's shield who we never met.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Must have been a dream.
What was the very first sentence? The very first line?
Life admitted, on artisan shoulders we stand. In stone we are committed. Clasp hands and enter.
I worry somebody will petrify if they touch that.
Well, maybe there's another way in.
We can. Yeah. Okay. We can investigate.
What if we just all hold hands, or clasp our own hands, or something like that? You know what I mean?
Or you could just give it a go.
I'll have a look. I'll investigate the door.
Sure. You investigate it, much like the door you came in. It looks like the horse you rode in on. If you hadn't seen this happen before, if you'd only ever seen human and elven architecture, the outside of the door would look like it literally just have a very small line carved in it. It's almost perfect. There seems to be no... You wouldn't even know this is a door if you'd only seen elven and human architecture. It's carved. It looks like it's been carved directly onto the wall. Obviously, you know, having seen this before, this is a dwarven door. It's, to all intents and purposes, will be sealed unless whatever you need to do to open it is done. If not, it's going to be bloomin' difficult, to use the northernism, to try and force this in any other way.
Have we got anything?
I have nothing.
I could wrap my whip around the hand and pull.
You can try whatever you like.
I'll try that.
Cool. Doesn't seem to budge or move in any way. Yeah, it's much like pulling on a stone statue. You know, there's no give to it whatsoever.
Does anyone have a less favoured hand?
We go back and get one of the dwarves. Oh no, we're sealed in now, aren't we? Can I just go back to the door we came in through and have a look at that one? Is there anything there?
It's like a solid stone surface.
No hands.
Made of hands.
Made of hands. No, it's like literally, it's almost like a solid stone surface, and no carving, nothing. It's a perfect flat surface.
And the key, we can't see the key because it previously dropped through a little slot in the
No,
other.
there's no keyhole or anything.
No.
It was opened from the outside, and then that was it.
Okay.
You actually, to note, you can't actually see where the door. There's obviously space where the door disappeared on one wall, but there's nothing in there that shows an indentation where the door should go, like a slot or anything like that. It don't seem to disappear into the wall.
Well, guess we try the hand. I can cast something on you.
Have you
I'll
got
task.
mage hands or anything like that?
No. I can cast.
Oh, hang on. Hang on.
I have mage hand.
Hang on. No, I've got my unseen servant. I will cast unseen servant.
Absolutely.
Right, so this spell creates an invisible, mindless, shapeless medium force that performs simple tasks at your command until the spell ends. The servant springs into existence in unoccupied space on the ground within range. AC 10, 1 hit point, strength of 2, can't attack. Once it returns as a bonus action, you mentally command the servant to move up to 15 feet and interact with an object. I am casting
Nice.
So, it appears as a sort of shadowy will-o'-the-wisp floating in front of me.
I think you'll find the creature is invisible.
All right, okay.
We can see it moving in the dark.
It's invisible, but it leaves a sort of, when you look through it, there's a sort of ripple, a bit like the Predator.
I'll take that.
a whipple.
A
I
ripple.
can't see it.
No,
You can see anything.
you can't see a thing, can you? Yeah. So there's and I will command it to grasp the hand and twist, pull, turn. What do you think?
Tickle.
Dear.
All right, we'll try twist first.
Yeah, it'll grab hold of the hand. As it does so, the hand suddenly seems motile and alive, as if it's an actual dwarven hand moving, articulated. You see it clasp as if to shake hands. As it does that, you hear a strange metallic buzzing sound, and you see on all of the fingertips a series of very small, what look like needles, rising and falling across all the hands. It happens across all the fingers. It happens for a very long period of time. Looking at it from the outside, you think that thing would have a bloody tight grip on whatever it's holding. With that, the unseen servant is dismissed, disappears.
I didn't say it could do that.
Sadly, it's part of the spell. Specifically, it ends if something were to happen.
If it drops to 0 hit points.
The hand then turns rigid again. All of these kind of little needles disappear.
You can thank me later.
No, thank you now.
The door retracts backwards by about a foot and then slides downwards. It sort of slowly slides into the floor. Again, it's very disconcerting to watch this happen because it seems to just disappear into the floor as if it's just wafting down.
Should we describe this to Caston?
You can do, and there's an eerie red glow that appears from the opposite side. So it's almost like a UFO door opening to you, as this kind of like angular door kind of disappears into the ground. This red glow appears, and you are confronted with a fairly large room. You're kind of thinking 120 foot end to end. Immediately, the thing that confronts you is 3 stone columns on the far end of this room on either side. So you've got 3 on one side, 3 on the other, and in the centre, a very large door that's covered in runic language. It's probably 30 feet high, covered in runic language. There's some kind of runes written across the top that culminate in a very large stone face. There is also a door, very large stone door, probably 15 foot across on your left. There's a bizarre door on your right that's about 15 foot across and covered in what looks like brass gears that don't seem to be moving. There's something written on top that does not seem to be in Dwarven. It's made of a strange script to do with dots and lines that's incredibly complicated. There are another 2 doors further down, if you use the aeroplane reference. Another 2 doors further down. One on the left is a very dark onyx type colour and seems to be engraved as well. And there's one on the right of a very dark onyx colour that seems to be engraved. That is the scene you're confronted with. The eerie red glow seems to be coming from within these stone pillars. If you take a look at them, they seem to be marbled, but the marbling within them is made out of some kind of red stone, which is emitting light, and it's actually giving this whole room some kind of red light.
This feels kind of dungeony. Feel kind of dungeony to you? Yeah. Like a bad.
There's no sign of any presence of some ancient and revered dwarfs,
Not from where you stood.
or any sign that they may have been here.
It's quite hard to tell, so you've noticed particularly as you've looked around even very old dwarven houses, there doesn't seem to be a huge amount of dust or
I was just going to say, is there any
other
dust
kind of
on them?
thing. No, there didn't seem to be. Yeah, you're not really sure why that is, but Dwarven architecture doesn't seem to emit, keep, or have much in the way of dust.
Did you say there's a big face at the end?
Yeah, on top of the door, the large 30-foot door.
So you've got. So there's 5 doors. Apart from the one we've just come through, there's 5 doors. Is that right?
Yeah.
I would like to look for traps.
You may roll an investigation check.
I will help.
I got a 1, so I need it.
I will help.
Either is nothing is traps or everything is traps. You're not sure.
I think everything's made of wood.
I got a 16. What's my investigation?
Felix just reaches out, and the whole
I've got a
room is just a
20.
Polaroid picture.
I got a 20, not
You got
a
a
natural
20?
20.
The room seems grand, and
Fine.
that gives you a sense of kind of awe, if not foreboding. But as far as you can tell, nothing seems overtly dangerous in its own right in this room. It's a large room, probably used to very high levels of administration. But it's very quiet.
It's all good.
Elantrix will gravitate toward the line dot language.
Oh, how do you do
Yeah, of
that?
course. On the right hand side. You have seen this somewhere before. It's a series of lines and dots that seem bizarre, like absolutely, and it's littered across the top of the door. It's very straight and angular, and you've definitely seen it before. And you've seen it on a flyer. Specifically, do you read Gnomish?
Yes.
Giving the game away, it's Gnomish. And does anyone else read Gnomish? No. It's a
Don't think so.
fiendishly complicated language made of dots and dashes, and depending where they are in orientation, changes the meaning. It's quite a small section of writing. Above the door, it says, because you can read it, the gnome line. Below it, in various complicated ways, you think is some form of table of times of day, but you're not entirely sure.
The gnome line. This is where. The other end of this is where Zolan told me. Connected to that halfling. To a halfling city where
A Jeffco Crag.
they met Void.
Okay.
There's a large stone door in front of it. There doesn't seem to be any way of unlocking it at this stage. There's no keyhole or anything like that. It's a large stone door, much like the others. There's not much on its face.
Why would it be buried so far in? Like, apparently no one comes here. So it's like their own private line to go where the halflings are? To go-
Is this the other end?
I have no idea. This is just a big room to me. Felix can have a look at the onyxy door and just see if he can see any details on it.
So you've got a big door. You've got two annex doors, one on your left, one on your right, at the far edge of the room, and then you've got this very large 30-foot door, which is made out of some dark granite or something.
Oh, it's the 30-foot one that's done.
You want- yeah,
Yeah, I'll have a look at that.
Cool.
I'll come with it.
Again,
It's one of the smaller ones that it wasn't the big one that had those dots, was it? It was one of the.
It's the smaller one, your extreme right, as you walk
Yeah,
through
yeah.
the door, and surrounded by these brass cogs. They don't seem to be moving. They look like could move, but they're not moving right now. So you're looking at this big door that's kind of central. Again, it's littered in some kind of runic language. You obviously know to be Dwarven, but you probably can't read.
It's all gibberish to me.
Yeah, right on top of the door is a very large stone face. Specifically,
Hello, stone face!
you've seen this kind of stone face before on the highway. You noted it before because of its gender neutrality, and it's very much kind of doesn't seem to have any real markings. It's dwarven, but there's no real markings of whether it's male or female. You're not sure what that means and whether it has any cultural significance, but it's specifically an androgynous face.
What is its name?
No answer.
I'm going to tap on the door.
He's going to knock on the door.
Yeah.
No answer. It's a very large granite door. It's so thick that you kind of feel like you're just tapping on
Yeah.
stone. It doesn't knock or make a hollow noise.
Is there any in any of these doors? Is there any indication of how to open them? Any seams? Any keyholes? Any blow in this hole? I don't know anything.
Of any of the doors, you're looking for
Never
ways
come
to
your house
open.
unattended.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so other than the
Which
name
hole?
line, other than the name line and this very large door with lots of writing all over it, which you can read given time. It'll take you a little bit of time. It's very intricate. But,
Sure start, yeah.
you can start reading it. The onyx door on your left seems to have a door handle, which would probably be a good way of getting in. The onyx door on your right seems to have a door handle, which would be a good way of getting in. And there is some other kind of smaller stone door that was on your immediate left as you walked into the room. It doesn't seem to have a door handle, but there seems to be two imprints of hands which give the impression you could push it if you wanted to.
I'm not putting my hand into them.
Is there any kind of blood altar around?
No, large altar with gullies. No, nothing like that, I'm afraid.
No, I'm not putting my hands in them. Not after what happened to my little ghostly servant. Because something damaged it.
Used to it now.
It only took like 2 points from it, though, right?
Yeah, but how many did it actually take? How much damage did it do? I mean, the thing only will fall apart at the slightest
They
bit of
might think
damage.
we're weak and only have very little.
Do you want to
so it
stick,
might
stick your
accept-
hands up if you want? Be my guest.
Oh, well, I almost will. If one of you smarties don't come up with something quick.
Well, I'll try one of the door handles. I'll specifically try the one on the door on the left.
I really hope it's spiky.
Door on the left. While you're doing that, you're doing some reading. Before somebody turns a door handle, you manage to get a bit of reading done.
Don't touch the door handle.
Everything's poisoned. No. The big stone face on top of the door is of cultural significance. I alluded to it before. I was obviously leading you up to something. It's of cultural significance. It means something to do with the mountain you will find yourself in, which you will remember, of course, is Gordonan, or the back of the world.
Absolutely.
I mean, you
So
didn't have to
it's
say
Called what?
Gordonan, the back of the
Oh, yes,
world.
but-
Yeah.
I thought we were in Arlek. Or are we in Bandorman?
So that's specifically what this is about. A lot in that context, you wouldn't have been able to get this without that context. In that context, it changes the meaning of the whole rest of the words on the door. In that context, specifically, these runes reference who resides within that place, which it refers to as the seat. The words for seat could also mean palace or kingdom or various other things, but specifically it's the seat, which refers to authority, but also the weight of rule, basically.
We're going through there.
The big one.
Eventually.
Okay.
It refers to the venerable leader of the back of the world. It's somebody who represents the mountain itself. There's a lot of kind of honorifics, but that's what it's alluding to. Without the context of that particular face, if you hadn't known that mean, it kind of would have been gibberish, but it all kind of relies on you understanding the cultural significance that we've had. But you're trying a door handle. Just
Should I try the door handle? Should I not try the door
It
handle?
doesn't say not to.
Yeah, let's say not to.
I'll try the door handle.
And this is the one on the left.
Door on the left, yeah.
As you're turning the door handle, you notice from where you're stood, Alantrix, exactly where you're stood, all of a sudden you start to see runes around the room. Specifically, above this door, the way the stone's etched is when you stand at this angle, it says above the door,
Gents.
Enclave. You turn the handle, it turns effortlessly, and it's
Sorry, that's the door he's opening, says
That's
that.
right.
Okay, yeah.
It swings open, this onyx
Okay.
door, and it swings away from you. Inside, there is a long stone table. It is roughly 45 feet in length. It's surrounded by stone chairs. It's a pool table. It's where they play billiards. There's, and two
little
of
stone
the
balls.
chairs are occupied. Hello! What are you doing there? Who are
We're
you?
not dead.
I'm surprised. They sound dead.
Okay, this is your play. This is...
I'm the other side of the room.
I can't hear him. What's he saying?
Elantrix!
No, that's not me.
I'll head over.
Sorry.
Oh, this is going to
What
take a
language
while.
you speaking there?
Common.
He's speaking Dwarven or Common now.
He did actually refer to you in common, which was quite rare, but he talked to you in common initially.
Excellent. Elantrix, I think we've got what you're looking for over here.
She'll come across.
In the couple of occupied chairs, you see people in very long black cloaks. They're hooded, so you can't really see their faces. But other than that, it's
Chairs
it's all
have
you- it's two chairs.
big wings.
They are stone chairs, but they're relatively longer on the top than the bottom. If you like. You know the type.
Yeah.
You know the type.
Hello.
Bless an elf! I haven't seen one of you in hundreds of years. What are you doing here?
We've come to see the king.
Have you now? Come to see the king, have you? Well, I'll be the judge of that.
Okay. And what might we have to do to see the king?
Oh, sit down. Come on, you're making me feel uncomfortable.
She'll have a cursory look at for any sort of spikes or anything on the seat.
Show me your hands.
She'll hold them out.
That's interesting. What's wrong with you?
It's just how I hold them.
You managed to get all the way in here with your tiny digits.
Yes.
That's what. Oh, it's taking it out of me. This, I'll be honest.
What are you two doing? Who's the other one?
We're the Enclave.
The two of you?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Why are you doing that when you
Show
talk?
me your hands.
He's got paws.
Were there any beers on the table?
There's not actually any beer in this room.
Then, yeah.
currently. How
Are they
did you
dwarves,
get-
by the
how
way?
did
They're
you
not
get in
rather
there?
than gnomes.
They seem to be dwarves.
Yeah.
Yeah, they seem to be dwarves. You can't see their faces. You can see that neither of them have beards. They are obviously either clean shaven or not bearded in any fashion.
Not bearded dwarves.
That's concerned.
That's odd. Are you dwarves?
Of course, I'm a dwarf. What do you think I was? Just sitting around in the Enclave, minding my own business.
Well, you.
No, I'm a wood elf. What did
don't
you
have,
expect?
you don't have the old facial stuff.
I'm a member of the Enclave. Don't be offensive now.
No offence, man. Just unusual to
Who
see.
let you in here? Why have none of you got the mark?
I can mark something if you want.
How'd you get through? He rolls up a sleeve, and out of his sleeve comes a wizened hand. It's almost skeletal. As he holds it up, you'll notice his hand is marked, tattooed almost, the shape of another hand.
The shape of another hand.
And in that hand,
There's
there's another hand.
The shape
Infinite
is as if somebody had
murder.
reached out and grabbed his hand,
Branded
and in
it.
doing so, has
Yeah.
branded him
Yeah.
with a tattoo. She didn't come through the conventional way.
No.
We missed out on a very cool tattoo.
Yeah. We were let through because we have important news for the Enclave.
Oh, do you know?
We do.
What's wrong with his face?
We've been wondering that for a long time. Don't worry.
This is what happens when you eat too much meat.
I do.
Your face goes all wrong and full of teeth, you know. I know because I had mine remade. A lot of this is just enamel from other animals, you know. It's
We have
amazing what
important news.
you can- Sorry,
We have important
did
news.
you just come in?
Yes.
How long have you been here? Oh, you look really strange.
The forge. We have the bits for the forge.
I see.
The bellows,
The
the other
life forge.
bits.
You'll notice as you're talking to him that he looks around the table. As he looks around the table, even though it's very intricately made, you'll notice very large stone discs inset into the table. They look removable, but they are inset into the table. You've seen these before. These are kind of ways of recording information,
Yeah.
large stone discs that were etched around the outside. Again, depending on the placement of runes and how you hold it, means you can encode information along the
So the whole-
circumferences and along the outside.
The table is one giant hard drive.
One way of thinking about it. But lots of different ones. So it's 45 foot long, and kind of every couple of foot in a very ornate pattern there are different discs it comes through. You see him glance across them almost rapidly and then come back to you. That's interesting.
Are there many seats in here? Yeah.
It's filled.
Where's everybody else?
Where's everyone else? It's very good.
Oh, it's a classic one that she did.
They're all in the hall of eternal service now.
You're the only two left.
That's like, maybe not now. Not now the forge is like forged that.
What do the Enclave do?
We're the sitting seat of all of the dwarven lands. Pass down knowledge from generation to generation. Guide the youngsters in their path, you know, and make sure people don't go too far from the old ways.
And yet we're told that nobody is allowed to come in and see you. How do you pass down your information if no one is allowed to come and see you?
We're more active in our younger years, to be sure.
see.
And on top of that, we try not to intervene unless it's absolutely necessary.
When was it last necessary?
About 50 years ago.
What happened?
You've come this far, so I assume no truth in lying to you now, but our king was very ill. We needed a way to ensure he would survive through the predicament we find ourselves in. He didn't have an heir, you see.
Oh, jeepers.
He didn't have an heir.
No.
And exactly what object did you imbue him in?
It was a wonderful likeness.
Oh, jeepers.
We had little choice. We had to preserve his knowledge for generations to come. We hoped we would weather the storm, but seems like it's only going to get worse from here on out.
Can we still talk to him, the king?
Yes. He sees things differently now.
Because he's made of wax.
Stone?
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Is he inordinately large?
We added a sense of grandeur to the situation, to be sure.
Yeah, just saw it coming. I didn't want to say. You would do, wouldn't you?
He kept humming a line, talking about his grandfather.
Yeah, because he's a clock now. So.
His
Yeah.
hands kept going like this. You got something to do with the new arrivals then?
One new arrivals?
Well, we heard of you lot for sure, but there was someone else, an elf.
Oh no, there was a while back. You're talking about the Duke?
Aye.
Yeah,
it
that was
him.
Yeah, he's the one who broke your forge.
Aye, so I heard.
No, he's gone now. He's done.
Aye, okay. Seems like only yesterday. Yeah, he glances at all these signs on the table.
To every action, there was an equal and opposite reaction. The Duke was the action. We are the reaction.
Something wrong with him?
Yes.
Many things.
You probably get on well with the king then. So there was you lot, and then I've heard tell of someone else. Somebody else from the Elven Lands come through recently and all.
How?
Wesley?
Last 10 day.
A dwarf?
No.
Who?
Came with the anvil.
With...
Gave himself the name Undar.
You what?
Crap, is that the name? Who are we looking for?
You'll remember the name Undar. You heard about it in Renthari Prime. He wore a grey, wide-brimmed hat.
Oh God.
He was on our side. We sent him to get the anvil and bring it to us.
Oh, right. That makes sense.
Oh no, I assume the end.
Don't worry, he's not going to make it into the guild hall, I shan't imagine, anytime soon.
No, does that mean he's got the anvil? Does that sound like he's on our tail?
He couldn't possibly be that close behind us. He couldn't be. We got here by magical means. We teleported over a vast distance.
Yeah, maybe he just teleported over a vast distance.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Teleport? What are you talking about? On a train? You take the train? The train's not run for years.
Oh, that's a good point. Can we could it run?
I don't know what to make it.
Oh, okay.
The gnome line.
Hey.
When did you last have that door open?
He only glances along the length of the table, looks back at you. 100 years ago now, maybe. We shut it as soon as they took our work.
Oh, of
No.
course, yeah.
Buggers.
Yeah.
They took. Which work did they take?
Everything you can imagine. Forge mastery, even the Guild of Wet Nurses. They all went to the gnomes, didn't they? Willing to sell their secrets to the highest bidder. As soon as the elves found a way to get cheap work from the gnomes and then ore from the humans, they didn't need us anymore. And then the sickness began, and the rest, as they said, is history.
Do you know anything about the chimes?
James.
Please fill them in.
Realm of the gods. We
Yeah.
don't tie in much with gods around here, not since the stories that the king used to tell us.
Oh, he's got stories to tell.
You can get it out of him, yeah.
What happened to his body if you turned him into stone?
It's a very visceral process.
Right, it's consumed in the process.
Not much is left,
Void Rock,
Why?
a dwarf from long ago. Do you know of him?
I'm aware of him.
Was
Only
he-
what I've been told.
Was he one of the Enclave?
Not really. He wasn't one of us in the truest sense. Racially, I mean. So, technically, he could never be a member of the Enclave. I don't expect you to understand this, but yeah, he was a good friend of the king's grandfather, or so I'm told.
Team Huddle. Team Huddle. Just remind me, we are here because we're trying to stop the chimes to save the world.
Yes.
Am I thinking this?
Yeah.
And that has to do with the bloodline of the kings of the dwarves. Yes.
We believe.
Yeah, no, I know. No, well, don't go like, just along the top because there is no bloodline. He is now Stone Man.
It's hard to get blood from a stone.
We don't know whether it's the blood itself.
Okay, it's not literal.
We just believe that the rulers of the four great dynasties are the key themselves. We think it's literal.
Sweet. Unhuddle.
People always used to speak louder in my day. I swear everyone's got quieter now. And they don't say very much. It's quite boring, actually.
What do you
Back
mean?
in the day, we used to, come up with laws and decide the future of our people. But tell me, you've seen the Forge. You've seen it work once. I mean, damn tempting way out, isn't that? Live forever.
We haven't seen it work.
What do you mean? You put it back together, didn't you?
Well, we've
No, we got the bits.
got the bits. We've left your man back there to put it back together.
Well, Holson, there's a reason he's not sat in this room. You let that madman just to go willy-nilly around the place, did you? He waves his arms around, his sleeves roll down, you see that he is wizened, is the best way to describe it. Very thin and gaunt.
No, listen here. He was very accommodating. He's got the alcohol and the food. He was lovely.
He's a bare 300 years old, he's got a lot to learn, is my concern about him.
Well, there's only one way to learn.
Now, the king didn't like the idea of reigniting the life forge. It's not a new thing. He claims to have invented it, but it's been a line before. We don't mess with life under the mountain, not unless we can help it.
Do you know why it fell through the floor?
It's a strange artifact. There's a lot we don't know about it. The king will probably tell you a little bit more than I have to know, but if you can make sense of what he has to say, it's just...
How do we get through the door to go and see him?
We can open it if you like, but...
Let's do it.
What are in the other doors?
Well, across from here is...
We really like checking everywhere. It's just a thing we
across
do.
from here you have the sombre hall.
It's just a room full of crates. Just
He was originally the armourer, if you like, to use the common parlance. We have a manner of speaking guards in there. Of course, not the way we used to, but Holston's furnished us with some defence, if you like, to make sure we weren't unguarded in our old age. Given the
Is there anything in
decline.
there that would be of help to a group of us?
buxom travellers.
I don't know. Maybe. On from there is the Hall of Eternal Service. It's guarded, but it's there. You'd probably call it a catacomb, I suppose, is the right way of seeing it.
It's where you store your dead.
The Enclaved, yeah.
Hmm.
We serve for eternity, even in death.
How do you serve?
We mostly just lie there for a protracted period of time, but it's more of an honorific than an actual title, if you will.
Elantric's going to turn around and just try and use a little device. A Shari lens.
It flitters back the way you came. You know that you'd be looking. It'd probably be focusing on the life forge still, so it's flickering back there. But now you're in this room, it does dither around a bit. It seems to equally flash far towards the door which marked the gnome line, and then also towards another door that you are unaware of what it means, but the door that has the two hands in it seems to be dither between the two of them, and you're not really sure.
This king, is he likely to be accommodating for smaller people?
I'd imagine so. He's not the talkative type these days, but I wouldn't worry too much. I just wouldn't be offending him. He's just different now. Bloody big and immortal. So they're two things that I'd quite like to be right now, given the preference. You never asking my question now, strange man.
Hello.
We now have the power, don't we, if we wanted to?
To become immortal?
Aye,
I wouldn't want to do that.
we know.
Oh, every day I do things and then I go to sleep because I'm knackered, and then I wake up and I have to do more things. Do you just want it like...
End it all.
Yeah. Like, it's nice to know that eventually I won't have to
This
do...
day took an interesting turn.
I won't have to do anything, you know? And that's just a nice thing to know. The last thing I want to have to do is do everything
You'll have
forever.
to eternally serve.
Oh, no, thank you. No.
I suppose we've always thought of our service as eternal, so we have a different view, but I don't want to be the enclaved member that saw our race come to its end.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But maybe you all need to start having babies.
Wish we could. It's kind of the problem.
Yeah, I think you need to go to the bottom of that first.
Don't you think we tried?
Don't be making stone people.
We sent out emissaries, we've been to the other great nations, and
Is it
here we
all
are.
dwarves or dwarves? Is it all dwarves or is it just under this mountain? There are two other mountains.
I haven't heard from anybody in years.
Well, if we find out, we'll let you know.
And when did you cease having the ability to procreate?
I'll have to look back through the notes, but I can get your exact numbers if you want. I don't see why not.
Was there anything? What?
Anything that triggered it?
No, maybe like nerves.
Tight pants.
The rumour goes that we were visited by an emissary. Somebody's saying that they spoke on behalf of Sesu. You must have heard the poem. The king says very little else by now.
Yeah, we've heard it.
So somebody specifically wanted the dwarves to die out, you mean?
Well, allegedly. We got too close to the secrets of life, so they say. And so in doing so, being so obsessed that we were at the time, we became cursed dwarves. No able to create life, only destroy it.
Did that align with the time that you created the Life Forge?
Hard to tell, we didn't chronicle it in exact dates at the time, so... hence, I suppose, why the rumour's so rampant, but that would be the general feeling, yeah.
And the emissary was from Equa?
No. Speak of him having more arms, different race entirely. Kind of bizarre in these parts, but it's probably a folk tale. I imagine they were trying to describe something that was kind of grand and alien, so...
The Osai have 4 arms. People in the southwest.
Bless you.
Don't know what that is, I'm afraid. A race? There's a race with 4 arms?
Tall. Dark skinned.
Match the description
Large.
for sure. I always thought it was just a turn of phrase, something to describe something otherworldly. You see, we've had our run-in with Sesu in the past. The king tells the story of his grandfather and fighting abominations. But again, he speaks of little else these
Who
days.
was his grandfather?
His grandfather, the king, Wemrook, Granite Brew. You mentioned Voidrock, they were allies.
I wish to talk to this king.
Yes.
Have you pressed all the conversation options on this guy? You're good?
Yes.
And with that, should we take a short break?
Sure.
A short break. We'll probably be roughly 8 of your Earth minutes.
Chicken chaser.
Chicken chaser?
Chicken
You
chaser.
chase chickens? Well, you don't look like a pie master to me, but then again, I've never met one before. next 3 months.
Rando
Sort of challenge. I think I'm going to go recorder.
Really?
Yeah, for a bit.
I was thinking small Yamaha keyboard.
Or a guitar.
Ooh.
Theremin.
Ah,
It's the only
yes.
instrument I
I'll
want to
build
play.
one. I'll build a theremin.
Or a pipe tar.
You build it, and I will play.
And I'll come.
Part
Possibly
guitar.
that as well.
Part guitar. Bagpipe.
Half pipe bomb.
Oh, that would have been hard to play,
Theremin orgasm.
but not impossible.
Theremism.
Yeah.
It's going to be recorded on the internet forever now. We said it first.
Theremism. Yeah.
Yeah, theremism.
You heard it here first, children.
Theragasm.
Theremism.
Oh.
Tell me my next character's name. Oh dear.
Brother
Right.
of Thorny.
Second cousin.
Hello, New York.
New York.
New
New
York,
York.
New York.
New York. What were we talking about? Yeah.
Take us to your king.
Oh, we'll have to stand up.
Or you just give us the key, it'll be fine.
Go there.
Not any wheels on the bottom of that chair, is there?
No,
Wheel you in.
that would be a lovely idea. You sort of need one of these. Hands up his tattooed hands.
Oh, okay. Well, if you put your hand out, just real steady, and we can.
Yeah, we'll have one. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have one of them.
That's
You
not
probably won't
funny.
even notice.
Yeah, it's,
I'm not. My stoating days are behind me.
oh, it's alright.
Did you ever try, you or anyone else, try to either
Bristol.
cream?
Sherry, our sponsor for this evening.
Bristol
Nice
Cherry,
one,
give
Jack.
us money to play D&D. We'll drink nothing else for a year. Nothing else for a year.
Lick my balls. What was it? Lick my balls. I say it all the time.
Wiggity wah wah wazzle. That's not a quote. He just says that. I'm getting that as a soundbite. You know, it's my ringtone.
That Sherry's gone to your balls.
Yeah. Did you? Have you ever tried? Have you ever
No, I
tried?
haven't tried that. No.
Have you ever tried unforging, unimbuing somebody's soul?
Oh no, I don't think that'd be possible.
Have
You
you ever
can
tried?
transfer a soul from one thing to something else, and probably from that thing to something else, but never back in.
That was my next question.
I've never tried. No, we haven't tried. I mean, what would you do that's current occupant?
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
You can harvest.
I've got
the
what I
life.
need.
Lick my ball.
You can harvest the life
Glad
and
you
you
have.
can put it into something. I mean, I suppose in theory, if you had an empty vessel, so to speak, that you'd grown,
Something
maybe.
biological.
I wouldn't want to try it, would you?
No.
Imagine
no.
waking up with somebody else's skin. And even then, what would you... I don't know if that would work.
Hey, have you heard about a stone? A stone for making life? A life stone, if you will.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Part of our journey brought us here because there was a whole incident in a bathhouse. You guys remember that?
Was that in this game?
Yeah, man, it's been like a month.
Wow.
We were following that
Yeah.
with our little compass. Don't worry about it. Can we go see the king, please? Yes,
You're
please.
gonna have to help me.
Could someone pick this man up? Move him like a puppet.
Preferably not like that.
Do you have a means of transport?
Do you have a wheelchair?
Wheelchair, wheelbarrow, wheel table, wheel.
No, I
Weird.
kind of just get here in the morning and then just wait to go to bed.
He's going to have all sorts in his pants.
I can carry him, but it's going to be a bit weird because I'm going to have to undisguise.
You've been in disguise?
Yes.
You choose to look like that.
Give me 2 seconds. He's going to pop under the table,
Oh,
cancel his spell, and pop out the other side, and look like Felix. So
that looks a little better actually.
You prefer this?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. He's going to carry him.
You look a little less intimidating. Your face seems the right shape now.
He's got strength +4.
Yeah, he's a frail old man.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I feel like he's going to fold like paper.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's a bit stinky. Are you wearing a nappy?
Well, it's got to go somewhere, but we don't eat a great deal, so it's mostly just,
Sure.
like brine
Dust.
and goodwill.
When you eat dust, you poop dust.
It's kind of, yeah.
Goodwill.
Do you not know it? It's an album by Blood Gully. So what are you doing just holding me here? I'm not a sack of clothes, you know, I'm a living, breathing thing. Let's get on it now.
Only just, let's
Mush.
be honest.
Mush!
Last point. If we need to get back through to the,
Still hanging here in the air. Just, it's quite...
that's fine.
It's
If
fine.
we
I'm
need
a
to
proud dwarf, you know.
if we need to get back through to see Halston, you'll open the door for us.
I might do, yeah.
Is it
I
easier if we
forget
just take the hand?
I would very much like that not to happen.
Cool, he's going to carry him to the door like he's a massive key.
What are you doing?
Have you heard their second album, Hemorrhoider? Blood Gully,
Oh
a great
yeah, I'm
band.
aware of that.
Yeah, they're a great band.
As he gets up to the door, he will just place his hand on the door. It doesn't seem to be in any particular location. He places his hand on the door, and you can hear a series of knocks and clicks that happen. You see the glyphs themselves seem to reorient themselves and change a little bit. As that happens, some disappear entirely and others move location. But as that happens, the door is obviously made to inspire awe. Whether you feel that way or not, it's kind of up to you. But the door does it kind of splits in the middle and starts to open out in kind of a 90-degree angle, kind of from both ends. It's kind of 15 foot apiece, kind of opening up into a large internal chamber. This too is kind of this red marble stone seems to run across the entirety of this room. So this room is almost bathed in red light. Unsurprisingly, as given its name, there is a very large chair in this room that has 2 golden pillars that are kind of either side of it. And sat upon that very large stone chair is a very large stone individual. He's about 40 foot entirely. That's sat down. And
He's a yacht.
Like an Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
similar.
Yeah.
Like a very large stone 40 foot creature kind of sat on this chair.
That being the
Interestingly
case,
enough,
we should go around and look around behind him.
they are very plainly dressed, and it's made out of this stone. It's made out of the same stone as the rest of the room, so it has this kind of red marbling running through it. It's dressed in what seems like a very simple robe. The face of the individual is, again, is the exact same face of the Mountain of Arlek. It's kind of been carved almost as if, you'd imagine exactly as if it was deliberately made to represent the mountain itself. There you go, I'll be going now. Can you put me back on my chair, please?
Yeah, how do we get out of here once?
Don't worry about that, I'm sure it's fine.
No, yeah, I think you're coming with us.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I think you're coming with us.
No,
Come on in.
I would very much like not to do that.
Yep. He's coming with us.
Okay.
This guy's the key to the city.
As you step through the door, it will begin to close.
Yeah.
Slowly,
Oh, look! Oh, what a surprise!
Yeah.
Oh, look at that! Isn't that strange?
slowly, and with plenty of time if you changed your mind, but other than that, it begins to close.
Cool.
Is there a keyhole on the other side of the door?
Doesn't seem to be any keyhole anywhere.
I'm just going to place you down next to one of these pillars. Okay.
So there's 2 large golden pillars. The pillars themselves are kind of 15 foot across.
How are you feeling? Is there anything you need?
You talking to me?
Yes.
I'm unwell, I'm old.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beyond that, you
I might
fine?
be voiding myself a little bit.
Okay, cool. You're going to be alright for about 10 minutes?
My journey's still out.
Okay, sweet. Let's go.
in accordance with narrative causality, I will have a wander around the back of the statue and check for secret passages and such like.
Yeah, can I just give that guy a piece of dwarven confectionery before we...
Oh, the old man.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. That's very nice.
Yeah, just to keep you going for the next 10 minutes.
Dwarven original. I like it.
No, it's yours.
You absolutely can walk around the back of the king if that's the first thing you want to do in audience. That is...
Well, I don't know what's.
Looking for his backpack.
Yeah, I'm looking for his back passage. All right.
Yeah, if you want to do that, that's fine.
It's like national treasure.
Yeah,
Literally just a small box. You walk around the back. You see the back of a very, very large stone chair.
It doesn't render.
Yeah.
No one's made it. Just a hole.
Just an absence of space.
You can see through into
Yeah,
other rooms.
There's a long drop, and then you can see the bottom of the map. Right?
Oh, there's the bell.
I can see the back of my own head. That's amazing.
But yeah, there's nothing particular that would mark out the back of this chair as anything that you would notice.
No secret passages, nothing hidden. Nothing.
There's a passage, but it's not secret. No, I'm joking. No, there's nothing. Yeah, nothing of note. However, the room moves slightly. And it's because you hear a very deep voice that emanates from the statue. And it just says, "For when the crown, stout and true, would rather burrow than grow anew, here did plant the cursed seed, a mind not on love, but law and greed. For though they prospered, they will no more, they are fewer that remember yore. As gold is pure and will not rot, yet it will not fill the maiden's cart."
Hello, Mr. King.
Hello.
Where is the cursed seed, Your Majesty?
Does it breathe?
It doesn't seem to breathe, but there is some kind of
Definitely
noise as if
sighs.
it was.
It
There's a
inwardly
sigh.
sighs.
Like
Yeah,
there's some
yeah.
kind of sighing noise.
Air moves around it.
It is not here. Are you a denizen of Seisu? Did you come here to gloat, elf?
No.
Oh, good tell. So good tell.
I come here to help.
We are beyond your help.
That's not true.
We sent our emissaries when we were yet alive and no one came.
I do not represent my kind. I come here of my own volition. We've come to help.
In my hour of weakness, I outstretched the arm of my people, and we received nothing from you.
Correction. You receive nothing from people of my race.
There's this almighty noise, it kind of grinds, and as this happens, it's been stood almost like weirdly still, and you kind of write this idea of Abraham Lincoln, this kind of like very still stone statue. The whole room kind of heaves as he moves one arm and seems to move it up on the chair. It's a very small movement, but this thing is 40 foot tall. And with that one movement, you suddenly get this feeling of this thing, which is, it's gargantuan. It's a massive entity.
Now, how about that? Here, I thought it was a statue.
No, you didn't.
You're very close to it.
After all the conversation we had in your book, no, you didn't.
Okay. If he says roll for initiative, I'm going to leave.
Yeah, same. That's why I brought the old man with us.
Yeah.
Your illness, your sickness, your people's sickness. I think I know what you need.
My people are beyond healing. We are beyond your help, elf.
So you've given up?
The halls of my fathers are laid open with the dead. We called for your help when we still had breath and no one came. I am going to be known as my people as the Kneebender, the Appeaser, the one who went for help.
And what if that help could still be sought?
It is too late now.
We
We
have
number in the tens, and this mountain was filled with my people, and I have watched them die.
There is a device which we have possession of. And a friend of ours showed to resurrect people that they'd lost.
You speak to me of resurrection. Have you seen the dead walk? My grandfather watched as our brothers raised from their very crypts and slaughtered the living, and you speak to me of resurrection. You know nothing, Elf. The dead should remain dead, and in their crypts they are at peace.
Then what is it that you want?
I have but little choice. Either forge my race anew in stone, or we accept that we are but a memory of this world.
Or
Behind door number 3.
And if you're resigned to those two choices, then we have something that can help you there as well.
You have chosen a late time to arrive. Why does Seisu mock me so, sending you now? I've given up my own mortality.
Listen, she's gonna hold her shield out and just cast.
shut the fuck up.
Just cast something. Cast thaumaturgy to make her eyes just change to brilliant white, just to trigger the symbol of Ophidia on her shield. I do not follow Seisu.
And what does the god of magic bestow upon me in this late hour?
Well, should you choose, we can lay the dwarfs to rest in the manner that you wish, or we find a way to uncover the secrets of the seed. I think I know who has it.
My grandfather watched as we played with life. And we paid for it dearly. Our allies are not so rich as they were in his day. Huge races of power laid to waste by our folly. What makes you think you are any different?
Because I do not seek power.
I would tell you that our world is dying, but yet I look at you and I know that you know that this is true. If my people are to meet an end, I would rather them make such an end that at least will be written in history, and perhaps I can undo the sin I performed, scrammering for help in the dark.
This is part of something even bigger than just the elves or the dwarves. This is These dead that you speak of, we are once again close to calamity in the world. We need your help to prevent it. You can go down in the annals as the race that saved them all.
It is but a fairy tale. There is no return from this end.
That there may not be. But at least it could not be the end for everyone.
My race has seen the dead return to life. We've been laid waste by the power of a god. The gods are forsaking us, one at a time, and it is only a matter of time until yours forsakes you, and you too will die like the rest of us.
I do not fear death.
Don't fear gods.
Fuck gods.
What he said.
For once, a language I understand.
We heard of a group of adventurers that managed to kill a god. So there's that.
I was just down there, actually, in the gnome line.
We heard it was just a bunch of ordinary people. Changed the world. Killed a god. Things like that, they're a big story.
Do you know of Void Rock?
Father's ancestor father, my grandfather's closest ally. We owe him a great debt.
What is that debt? If you don't mind me asking.
He imbued us with the secrets that we required to wipe out our fallen brothers. Saved us from a fate that befell other races. Slaughtered by their own king raised from the earth. We owe him a great debt.
I see.
You may not fear death, but I suggest that you should fear unlife. For even one such of you could be used by a power far greater than you imagine. I believe you have seen this, and that is why you talk to me. And that is why you pollute my halls with your foul arrogance.
Bit harsh.
Yes. I'm an elf. I'm used to this. From all the races. But I'm not like other elves.
Half elf, I get this a lot as well.
I'm trying to change things. I'm trying to find the keys, find the kings, the descendants of the mighty heroes that saved the world once before. The dwarves. Check my notes. The Osai. The elves. The horned elves.
We're going to save the world. You want to help?
We need the 4 bloodlines, which means you.
You are too late. I forsook blood long ago. What would you have me do? ride out of this mountain with my tens of kin.
We know that when these gates of evil open again, which they will, we know without the four of you previously, your grandfather, maybe with the help of Voidrock, and the other three nations, if it wasn't for you mighty heroes, there would be no more dwarves already. There would be no elves, there would be no halflings, there would be no fur knights, or half-elves, or gnomes, or humans. The world would have ended already. And we're relying on whatever it was about the four of you to operate the cowl. We don't know how you're going to do this. In truth, we don't know what the cowl is, but we hope that the four of you will do it again, whatever it was. Otherwise, the dwarves won't be remembered as the kneelers. They won't be remembered at all. Nobody will, because there'll be nobody to remember.
No one came to our aid.
Okay.
When my people laid starving for lack of money, nobody came to our aid. When we could no longer produce offspring, nobody came to our aid. Our numbers dwindled, we were forgotten, we were left in memory. I lack able-bodied dwarves to send out an emissary, even now. And even now I wish I had it, and I would do it again if it meant my people would be spared, but they are not, they are dead. You can see this, you have seen it.
Yes.
If you could put a dwarf into a different body and make an able-bodied dwarf to send out into the world, would that help? To act as your emissary, your hand, to do what you cannot. I can't believe that you will not.
Will it see my people spared? Will they live a full life? Not a half-life for eternity?
That's the hope. That's the hope we have for everybody.
What do you think, Halfling? What would you have me do?
I'd have you pick up your responsibility You'll be remembered like the great king you once were, the great king we heard of growing up. And I don't like this elf. But I'm starting to trust this elf. And I don't trust elves. I don't trust anyone.
Speak sense. Fair night.
Well, I'm not a man of inaction. I'm really like a doer of things. And sitting around and moping, it's not what I would do. I think if there's an opportunity for change, I would take it.
It seems to me that you've bemoaned the loss. Now you have the opportunity to do something about it.
I'm bringing together the kings, or at least the heirs to the great bloodlines, to operate this cowl. Once that's happened, you could be in a room with the monarchs of the dynasties that so badly let you down. And what happens in that point is not my concern.
I bet they're not 40-foot high stone creatures. You'd have a pretty good selling point there.
You would have to vow to us that first you would do what is needed to operate this cowl, and then you're free.
It seems like a simple oath to make if it is to save my people. But how long will this thing take? My people have but a year, perhaps two, before we're beyond any form of repair. Now, I could give the command today, now the life forge is almost complete, to reforge my people in a new guise and live a half-life for eternity. But that may only last a number of years until the whole world falls into ruin. But I will take that chance if you do not return.
All I can say is that we had the first chime but 10 days ago. A few 10 days.
You must have heard it
maybe a
even
year.
down in here.
It was a year or so actually, wasn't it?
A year plus 10
Yeah,
days.
multiple 10 days. Yeah. The first chime was
2 years ago.
2 years. I suspect
What's 2 years to an eternal stone thing?
Gentleman.
Was the death of his people, so quite a bit. Yeah.
I believe we're following the second right now. We waited, 1,000 years the previous time, and now we've had, looks like we're pursuing 2 chimes within the space of 2 years. There's 2 to go. And then, unless we've done what's needed, we're right back where your people started.
And if it all does go wrong, you'll be remembered as the king whose people died on their feet, fighting, rather than on their knees.
Or arses.
What he said.
He just shift his weight in his chair, and again this whole room seems to move with this gigantic weight. You see that actually he does move quite fluidly when he does, but as soon as he stops, it does look like a statue again, as if he's been like that way eternally. You have my oath that I will do what is needed with this cowl, but you have 2 years to fulfill your side of this oath. You will come to me with this cowl, will send an ambassador to tell me where to meet you within 2 years, and should you fail, we will die fighting.
Thank you.
Do we need a...
Yeah. I think a dwarf's word is his bond. So I hear.
The seed. I assume this was literal. This was something. Was it a metaphor, or was there an artifact, an item?
It was an item. My grandfather grew old and he passed it to my father, who was eventually kind and taken by Masai. We were not supposed to have it. It was not ours to have. We dug too deep. We cared little for family, for those ancestries that bound us. We forgot the stories of my grandfather. And in time, our race dwindled because of our failure.
If my hunch is correct, I believe we're following it. But I've lost track of it, so to speak. Is there any way that you can help us?
The Life Forge owns a lot of its power to that artifact. It's the reason we abandoned all technology that was powered by it. Focus sufficiently, it should lead you to it.
She'll produce the Ashari lens at this point. And do you know what this is?
I can imagine.
So you're suggesting were we to use this with the forge, would that help us?
You'd have to channel significant power. Probably take a life.
Take a life. Would we use Thunderstone?
Possibly. It is possible.
Okay. Thank you.
Remains quiet. And moving.
So we've got to go and get some Thunderstone for the anvil, for the
Anvil stone for the thunder lens.
yeah.
I think there's some downstairs. Yeah.
Well, she's mining
We
it,
know,
isn't she?
yeah, we know where to get the stone from.
Is she mining it? Or is she mining something else?
We
Did
told
you-
her to mind that afterwards, I'm
Mm.
pretty sure.
It's definitely down there.
Do you sleep
We need that piece, huh?
Hmm? Yeah.
in your body of stone?
I hardly need to. I can remain dormant for long periods of time.
Oh, I can do that.
What
Very
do you miss from your physical body? Don't do that.
It's cheese, isn't it?
Food, beer, warmth.
You're cold?
Always.
It's kind of sad. What do you think about when you're left alone?
Assume you can piece that together from our previous conversation.
Are you not really bored? Living forever in a stone casket?
I have a lot to consider.
Couldn't do it.
No, just huddle.
Team huddle.
They said in the other room you could potentially transfer somebody already imbued into something else.
Yeah.
We could bring him with us.
Boomerang.
The king. Bringing in the dog.
It's cold and in a giant stone room.
I can't see Heineken giving up his stone dog. Sorry, Carlsberg.
It wouldn't have to be in the dog.
Oh yeah, we could just use any idea. The other stony statue things. But the thing is, he's a bit of a killjoy. You know what I mean? There's a lot more to adventuring than just like doing the objective, you know. Like imagine sitting around the fire with this guy. Oh, I don't know. Oh, the elves, they're real dicks. You know what he said he thinks about when he's done it? He thinks about all the same shit that we just talked about. He hasn't got any hobbies. Like it's just imagine trying to sneak in for a town. Like that's not good.
Breakdancing is a hobby.
Yeah.
When no one's looking.
You think I'm hard to hide? I'm serious.
We don't have to put him into a body. We could put him into...
Like a vase. Yeah.
Or a broadsword.
Oh no.
Broads.
I mean, he is pretty angry actually.
Huh?
Might make a good great sword.
Or a boomerang.
Boomerang would be a thing.
King Boomerang.
Would he triple my damage on my great axe?
That's a good question.
I've got a crowbar.
You got to remember though, like it's going to be a hella boring great axe.
What about a coin? The little
No, 'cause
face
you
of him on it.
No, because you keep throwing them away and you throw the wrong one away.
Giving away the king.
Hey, what do you think, King? King?
And even then, you'll be tempted to spend him.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
But then
Just
you,
an
How many
That's why
ales can I
huddled.
get for a talking coin? It's just the first bar we went in, that would be you.
you rub his nose and you get a wish.
Yeah.
That's why I did the huddle rather than just blurt it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, to the Life Forge.
Yep. Go and get some of this thunderstone. She must have hacked off some by now.
I do think it's a good idea though. Let's bring him with us. Just. It's just it'll be detrimental to the field. You know. Yeah.
I had a dwarf that had this bag. It's not a dwarf. I knew a gnome that had this bag.
Yeah.
You might remember him.
I do. Yeah. Yeah, he was useless in a fight. That's what I remember. He was a coward.
Well, your choice.
My choice. Don't put this all on me.
I'm thinking through a lot right now.
Just like him. You're going to be bored, are you?
This would be the king's choice.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah, what are you going to do? You're going to hold him down?
Why don't you ask him?
Your Majesty.
How do you shave? I'm joking, keep going. Don't worry about it.
Would you like to come with us? You can be transferred from that body. You could be at the forefront of the...
Coin pouch.
Ignore him.
You put him in a candlestick.
You'd be able to witness firsthand what goes on. There would be no deception, no misconstruing of things. You might even be useful.
I dearly wish to see combat again.
Nice.
Are you any good at it? Apart from when you're, 40 foot high.
There's a reason I regret the monarch of Kneebender. The granite brows were known throughout all the mountains, and once the entire world, to be formidable. But what would become of my people if I were to leave?
What would become of your people if you stay?
I was just going to say exactly the same thing. Would it make any difference? It might be a positive thing. It might be something that they could rally around, rather than
He floats up into the sky.
rather than having you, what use is a king who is just sat in his throne, however big he is. You could be
King armor.
You could be a.
Oh,
The face on the front.
it talks. We see eye to eye here.
If your people knew that their king had given up his immortality to once again lead his people.
I will give the order. I will forge the enclave in stone. There will be a permanent reminder of our promise. And I consent to be carried with you. On the condition
Oh shit.
that I slay any foe I deem irredeemable.
Team Huddle, Team Huddle, Team Huddle.
Yes.
Are you sure? Who do you think he thinks is unredeemable? Like literally every elf that we meet is going to be like, oh, he dies.
Yeah. That elf, his grandfather,
Is that not our mission?
Yeah, fuck it, this guy's great. We would like to put you in a hammer. Or some sweet armour with a face on. Your choice.
Or a fake beard.
Or a stone beard. That is an option.
or a shield.
Mm,
Big dwarven face shield.
that would be so cool.
Whoa.
I feel like I hate to cut in, but I feel like as a stone king, you appreciate the direction we're going in here.
I wish to be an instrument of vengeance for my people.
He wants to be a hand. He wants to be a hand.
Not a
The ham.
boomerang then.
Solemn shit, this, isn't it?
Okay.
The hammer then.
What did you use in life?
What was your
Is there anything like? Can we see a big stone hammer on him or anything?
He's not armed. He's not armoured or armed in any way.
Is that-
You don't know if that's a traditional thing, but as a king, he's.
There's nothing in the room that might indicate what was his former armour or anything like that.
Nothing at all.
What-
Hang on a minute.
What about?
The other room? The other
Hello.
room was an armoury.
Yeah. What was your weapon of choice? Monorail.
I was a skilled man at arms. I could wield almost anything.
Armoury.
The instrument is irrelevant, as long as I can slay the foe that I deem irredeemable.
Sweet.
Well,
He's gonna put a pain in the arse, isn't he?
We can always leave him.
Simple yes or no is all
Well,
I
then I
ask.
wouldn't choose the boomerang. We'll come back.
We can just leave him in a cloakroom as required.
True, you know,
Yeah.
if ever we get to the point where just stick him in a scabbard somewhere. And
I'm sure. I think it's-
Okay.
I think we could probably both wield like a great hammer or something, right? So we can pass it around.
Do you have a great hammer?
got a couple of pretty average ones.
Yeah, I've
Squire.
got your one. Genius.
A war hammer, if you will.
No, this is D&D.
There is a forge master who rides within the Gilded Hall.
Ooh,
They can
we've heard
fashion
about
any
him.
weapon you desire.
What about any weapon that you desire? Oh, mighty king.
You should have a choice here.
It should be of dwarven craft.
Minecraft.
Okay. Please, can we take you? That would be very. Come this way. As you look like it would even theoretically be possible to get him through a door.
It's a big door.
It's a big door. He's 40 foot sat down.
Mm.
It would be incredibly difficult, you imagine.
So
Mm.
we're going to have to bring the implements to him.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to get everything in here.
Wesley will be back with that anvil soon.
Correct.
True,
Yeah.
yeah, you have the anvil as well.
Mm.
So
We do that then.
I didn't see a warhammer. There's a light hammer. We could turn him into a bag of light hammers.
Turn him into a bag of spanners.
Yeah. We could turn him into a maul. Heavy two-handed.
I think we'll let's get,
Felix is referring to his player manual.
let's get everything that we need together,
Yeah.
there's a little menu from the
and
armory
then
downstairs.
and then we can provide his lordship here with the choices that are available to him.
Sweet, we're going to have to go talk to the Forge Master.
Alright.
Let's do it. I want to turn him into a toy car.
I think that's probably a good time to end.
What an exciting conclusion
Today's
to that
session.
episode.
Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. We're a little bit early, but it sounded like a good time, so I feel we would leave it.
Hot in
And it's
here.
very hot in here.
Warm,
It's very
warm,
steamy.
It's warm, it's
It's
warm.
very steamy. Thank you very much for stopping by. I hope you've enjoyed that.
I keep thinking about the polymorph and all the weird things the polymorph turns into.
Thermos.
Yeah.
The sausage.
Just the king can be a bouncing ball.
I like the idea of the model car.
Or a traffic game.
Instrument of vengeance for my people.
Slinky.
The slinky.
Oh yeah.
Feel my vengeance.
I suppose until next time, we have been.
Lick, lick, lick my balls!
I say it all the time!
Hello, boys. Pink lemonade?
More